Well, this morning's coffee with really interesting. Interesting.
It's a good one. This is Bryan MacKay. Bryan, welcome to WJZ. Good morning. How are you?
Very good. Good to meet you, Marty.
And Denise, of course.
Hello,
is sitting
Bryan.
here.
Nice to meet you. Nice to see you.
You know, it's interesting. You look at Bryan's books, Paddle Maryland, Hike Maryland, Cycle Maryland, and you realize this state has an enormous amount of outdoors to offer.
It is a very diverse state. I mean, if you think of what it's like all the way on the Atlantic coast with Assateague Island, where you go all the way to western Maryland, where Deep Creek Lake and the associated state parks up there, it's just a wonderful state to live in. And it's only 3 hours away in either direction from where we live.
To get to the edge of it. What I love about your books, and they're great for families, is that you not only give us places to go to hike or to cycle or to paddle, but you tell us what to look for when we're there, like flowers and animals, what we might encounter.
That's what I'm really interested in. I mean, I'm a biologist, so, you know, that's the kind of thing I really like. And people are always asking me, well, what's that? What's that flower over there? What's that bird song up there? And so that's really how I got into it and what I like to do when I'm out in the field.
But you know, it's kind of, I'll give you an example of what it is. Like the book I'm holding is Paddle. Let's happen to turn it to the Gunpowder Delta. It's like a Frommer's or a Foder's tour guide where they say, walking to the cathedral, you'll go down this street past these shops. And that's what being outdoors is all about. You know, think about it.
And you do all these things? You hike, you paddle, you cycle?
That's what I love to do.
And you wrote the book after actually exploring these various paths you take us on?
I was teaching at UMBC quite a while ago, and I taught a class called Field Biology of Maryland. So we went out into the field, visited a lot of places, and the emphasis was ecology back then. But I learned a lot about where to cycle and where to paddle and where to hike when I was doing that. And that's kind of the origin of these books.
Let me ask you, what is your favorite place to paddle, cycle, or hike? Don't tell me, well, there's just too many to choose from. There has to be one. This was your last day on Earth.
Oh my gosh.
Let's try paddle first. That's an easy one. There's a place in along the Potomac River about an hour south of Washington, D.C. called Mallows Bay, and it's called the Ghost Shipyard. There's about 100 ships abandoned there.
I've heard of this.
They're 100 years old this year, and they were burned to the waterline 85 years ago.
Really?
And it's just a fascinating place to explore.
Somebody took aerial photos, I think, of that, Marty, and so you can see them under the water because they're not that deep, are they?
Right? No, they're right at the level, and you can't. If you stand up on the land, you can't see anything.
Okay.
You have to be out there.
Just real quick time cue. We only have about a minute left. Real quick, why were they burned?
They were burned because they were obsolete. Okay. By the time they were made, they were obsolete, and they were trying to salvage the metal out of them.
Your favorite cycle?
Favorite cycle? Oh, I probably like the Great Allegheny Passage, which runs from Cumberland north to all the way to Pittsburgh.
Wait a minute, that's pretty hilly, isn't it?
Yeah, but here's the cool thing. You can get on the Western Maryland Scenic Railroad in Cumberland, have them take your bike up to Frostburg, and then you can ride back. It's all downhill.
Wow.
I made it
now that is cool.
Virtually the whole way without pedaling.
And all of that is in these books,
yes,
right?
It is.
Oh,
yes,
boy.
Real fast
good books
hike.
to have.
Hike Maryland, my favorite place, close to Baltimore, is Soldier's Delight Natural Environmental Area. Hands down, it is the most unique natural area in the Mid-Atlantic states, and most people don't know about it. So,
tell them real quick where Soldier's Delight is.
It's near Owings Mills, Maryland.
Get out.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to get these books. I clearly have not explored this state that I have lived in for decades. That's wonderful knowledge.
You are very thorough. These are fine guides to anyone who wants to get some fresh air in Maryland.
Bryan MacKay, so we can find them in bookstores, I assume.
Hopkins Press.
All righty. That's fascinating. Thank you, Bryan.
Here,
Thank you.
Steve,
my pleasure.
Take these home. We'll give them back to him. We'll get them back to you in a couple of years.
After we take notes.
Marty, thanks very much.
Thank you, Bryan.
Thank you.
Taking a break and coming right back. It's WJZ.